welcome to another commentary done by Diggity on behalf of StarCastTV. Upper left hand corner, we have Hero starting as the blue Zerg. Bottom right hand corner, we have Royal starting as the red Terran. Both of these players in incredible shape, and this is about as good a StarCraft matchup as you can ask for. You've got very, very high level Zerg and Hero, arguably the best. I mean, I feel like he's still fighting for the best position. He's definitely proven himself to be in the top 3, I would say. Has not been able to turn that into an ASL win yet. Royal, I think, in contention for the best turn right now. It's really arguments between him, Light. Trying to think if there's really other arguments for Mind, potentially, out there. Anyway, Royal going to send out a very early SCV to plop down that supply depot near his natural expansion. Very likely wants to get that command center up sooner rather than later. Hero going for an Overlord first build. I will say Hero has... It's fun to watch Hero in matches just because he has that overwhelming, brutal macro style, and it'll be particularly interesting to see on this map, by the way. Good night. Wide natural expansion, a... What do I want to call this? I want to call it like a bowl. You've got like the bowl leading in, but you've got kind of multiple entry points to that nearby base. 6 o'clock, that's a little bit easier because you've got that high ground ramp. That does open up the standard Zerg dropping some lurkers on the ramp sort of play. We'll see how Hero opts to play it. He's opened up with a quick hatchery thus far. We do see that barracks on the front. And we'll see if a Marine gets, or sorry, if a Marine gets dedicated or if it's just going to be a complete blind command center before this on cross position. I would be a little bit shocked to see that versus Hero. Spawning pool and extractor around the 205 mark. And now the initial scout sent out from Royal. I will say Royal's just been playing fantastically. Every single time I've seen him play, he has just been sharp. Really very few mistakes that I can say in any aspect of his play, period. Hero scouting the upper right hand corner. I will say, I'm excited for this one in particular, not just because Hero has such sharp play, but I feel like Hero has incredible macro, and what Royal seems to have been able to do against multiple Zerg is to fluster them in the early game and then out macro them past that. And so it'll be interesting to see a more early aggressive and then fold back to macro oriented style player like Hero, how it ends up being a clash of styles. It could just be a really fun back and forth match as a result. Marine camping out. So it is going to be first Marine before command center. And never mind. Look at this. So everything on the front displaying as though it was going to be a quick command center build. Instead, we are going to see, I should have seen that gas earlier. Me just ranting about things, but it looks like it's going to be a factory to start and a machine shop to start with a command center folded in behind this. Interesting play. Definitely something different here from Royal. Sometimes you'll see a 1-1-1, but usually you'll see at least that very quick vulture created. And we'll see if there is a starport alongside this. This could be just straight up mech, and I don't know the last time I saw straight up mech versus Zerg. I like it though. 2-hatch play from Hero dropping that Spire. SCV is being blocked out by that Zergling and also being chased off by the additional Zergling. A Marine actually walking his way out. Interesting. Maybe... Yeah, just checking the 6 o'clock. Maybe he was hoping to catch an Overlord drifting into position. It looks like that Overlord a little bit ahead is going to see that command center potentially finished. This is going to be interesting timing because that command center is going to finish, I think, before that Overlord is able to move in and confirm it. Although it's going to see a lack of SCVs. Yeah, so it sees the lack of SCVs mining, and that might be a big signal to Hero overall that something's amiss. That's a very subtle thing to try to catch, though. 3rd hatchery in base, 2.5 hatch style. And so we do have Vulture speed being upgraded, and a second factory. Yeah, it's just going to be straight up mech from Royal. Armory already dropped. engineering bay to respect potential lurker play. The vulture's streaming across well before the creep colony. Yeah, completely caught Hero off guard. The Zergling's getting wiped out. All sorts of drones getting wiped out as well. I do not fault Hero at all for being caught off guard by this. This was very, very rare. And he just didn't have a lot of signals that this was going to be the case. So huge amounts of early economic damage for Royal with just a straight up mech play. Because usually, yeah, the Vulture is just... Anyway, great play. Oof. Drones trying to defend themselves. It looks like the weakened Vulture still sitting towards the back. Already we have 12 kills between the two of them, and Hero down to 9 workers overall as the Mutalisks spawn. So Vultures, wow, that was just absolutely brutal. Already a Goliath out on the front. 3 Mutalisks. Are we going to see any additional Mutalisks? So maybe we'll get up to the 5 count. But Hero's is going to have to... Oof. I mean, just look at the economic difference here. But Hero getting caught completely off guard. Honestly, with the timing of it, I honestly wasn't expecting the Vultures to be there that quickly even. But straight up mech. And now, Royal has this massive, massive worker lead. Oftentimes, when you're playing straight up mech versus Zerg, it is a arms race. Who can get more bulk out first? And after that initial decimation, complete crushing of the worker line of Hero, Royal would have to just completely flub everything. You can see Hero being a little bit desperate there, trying to push in. He's only got the 4 Mutalisks. Usually it's the 5 Mutalisks that get... That's the sweet micro count. More Vultures moving their way out. So just in case these Mutalisks wanted to continue to harass the main, they're going to be unable to because they're going to have to try to track down these speed Vultures. That's forcing them right back to the main. And now Hero, yeah, is just going to have to sit back and drone up and pray that somehow Royal misses his supply depot or something along those lines. He doesn't have a lot of options to crawl back into this. The Vulture's also behind this, going to be able to sweep to various locations and make sure a third base has not been secured by Hero, because that's one thing. Oh man, and look at this. What is this build order? Okay, so a drop back to Academy, 4 barracks being completed, so it's going to be a Goliath Medic Marine fold back composition. So this is almost like the inverse of what you'd see typically in the map. More typically, you'd see the 4 racks and then 2 factories dropped and then a push at the natural expansion. Here you've got some medics, some Marines, some Goliaths added into the factory line. +1 weapons going to finish alongside Stim at the 8-minute mark. But yeah, totally catching. So that 12 o'clock base, a desperation grab. It will take a while for those Vultures to work with that hatchery. The thing is I don't see any way for Hero, so he's going to get some shots off. So small wins there, 1 Vulture down. But still behind 20 supply as the army is flooding out for Royal. And even if Royal hadn't taken those massive losses in the early game, this feels like it would be a challenging army to engage, period. Very anti-Mutalisk, especially with any sort of Mutalisk play. So now finally a sweep of 7 Mutalisks making the way back. We have a large amount of turrets. The Goliaths and Marines, maybe to provide some support. Royal, his army is somewhat strung out here. But a cancellation forced at the 12 o'clock. Small Mercy just going to lose the drone there. Hero able to get amongst the SCV lines and do some damage. Dropping a massive amount of sunken colonies on the front to try to repel this attack force. But even with this, Royal still has this massive army walking about, could probably take some additional bases himself if he wanted to. And it looks like, yeah, Hero's play from here is I'm just going to seal up my front, build nothing but Mutalisks, and hope to win it off position. So now moving in, does he have +1 weapons on these Mutalisks as well? No +1 weapons. So able to wipe out turrets at the natural. Royal splitting the medic Marine army forward, but drawing the Goliaths back with their superior range to help defend that natural expansion. And Mutalisk count growing now. This is, yeah, Hero's win condition is just to try to just out micro and play it that way. But with the Goliaths, they're at the natural. Yeah, and all he has to do is keep these medic Marines active out on the front and make sure that the 12 o'clock and 3 o'clock aren't grabbed. You're able to pick one Marine off there. The Goliath's still walking around hunting the Mutalisks as best they can. Small Mercy Hero able to force a cancellation there, actually. That will allow those Mules to be much more active on the map for a much extended period of time. Won't have to worry about that irradiate down the line. But the Medic Marine Ball still growing. +1 weapons is finished. +1 armor being upgraded as well. Mutalisk checking that 12 o'clock location, and a very cautious drone being sent out to the 12 o'clock location. But again, with just this Mutalisk army, I don't think this is going to be sufficient to repel +1 weapon Goliaths with +1 weapon Medic Marines with a 30 supply difference. However, if you can catch portions of the army and deal with it that way and draw it away from that 12 o'clock location, maybe. Never mind, a cancellation instead sneaking to the upper right-hand corner. A siege tank also moving up. No lurkers. And now, yeah, maybe a waiting game. Hive Tech has finished. The Defiler Mound is a ways off. The Mule's trying to position into this, but getting pushed back very, very rapidly. That siege tank has got all sorts of anti-air surrounding it. Reinforcement group moving up. That, at the very least, is going to get wiped out. But Hero desperately trying to make his way towards the Defiler Mound and Consume, and hope that a single siege tank will not be sufficient to clear this in time. More reinforcements making their way out. Hatchery is being built top right for Hero. So Hero gonna try to make a game of it this way. 6 sunken colonies remaining. Consume being upgraded. Mutalisks are gonna find more reinforcements in between, so at least getting some beneficial trades there. +1 weapons, by the way, complete on these Mutalisks. Do we have a science vessel? Not yet. The Medic Marine Ball drawing back. That's actually leaving that tank somewhat exposed. Single SCV has found that hatchery top right. 4 sunk colonies remain. The Defilers in position. Some lurkers making their way out as well. A Nidus Canal being pre-constructed to drop immediately. But an irradiate on that first Defiler before it's able to drop Dark Swarm. Is Consume upgraded? It is not upgraded yet, so that Defiler is going to be lost. And now, after taking out that Defiler, Royal's actually pulling out of position. It looks like he wants to just go ahead and abandon and attack top right. I gotta say, kudos to Royal for really making, or kudos, I should say, to Hero for really making Royal fight for this one. Now, stream of Zerglings making their way out. The Mutalisks getting swarmed, and taking heavy damages. Extractor being constructed. Nidus Canal going to finish. Single Goliath going to get wiped out. This is a lot of Zerglings and Mutalisks. Defiler makes it through. A Dark Swarm is dropped, but the Medic Marines are walking free with some Goliaths in tow. Mutalisks pushing up, making sure that they don't bunch so they can't be irradiated. And Hero looks like he's going to be able to wipe this army out. Lurker lands, and with that, he's got 3 gas established. What a play! He's got 3 gas established. Royal now trying to grab that 6 o'clock location, and after being plummeted down to, honestly, what I thought was an irrecoverable economy, Hero able to whittle away at that economic advantage, getting a science vessel on top of it, able to cap this location. It looks like a single SCV. There's some Zerglings streaming across. Maybe they're going to go for a counterattack at the 6 o'clock. Lurkers now in the low ground. Hero being very brave and trying to take this. The Lurkers ranged. So Royal not done yet. Defiler getting wiped out. Gonna probably drop a second, Dark Swarm on the front. Does he have a follow-up troop grouping to defend this now? A lot of the Mutalisks were expended in that previous attack. And right now, I'm not seeing anything flow through this Nidus Canal. Zergling's repositioning, maybe going to go to the 6 o'clock. 3 Marines moving forward to see if any paltry forces are making their way out. I would expect a cancellation here on the low ground from Hero. Some Scourge flying forward. I think they're hoping to get a lucky strike on one of the science vessels. A lot of Scourge in patrol just in case there was a drop to follow up as well. But Hero actually backing off a little bit. And more Dark Swarm being dropped. So despite not having a massive army to repel this, a few Lurkers able to get in position and push Royal back off the upper right-hand corner. Royal has, however, been able to establish his 6 o'clock base. But this is soon going to be 4 gas now and an Ultralis Cavern underway in the upper right-hand corner. And also a positional sweep on the front right there. Another Defiler getting wiped out, but with 4 gas in play shortly, I don't think Hero is going to be too disturbed by that. Also, he's managed to get up to the 40 drone count, which is sizable. However, +2 up and +1 armor Marines are still out there. Yeah, we do have +1 Carapace otherwise. Continuous irradiates now in the upper right-hand corner. Hero still has to defend top right. Medic Marines actually piling into this. 1 science vessel gets picked off. Zergling's pushing in, but again, without the Defiler to provide some support. No, I take it back. Zergling's able to sweep through, and with Mutalisk support, distracting some of the Medic Marines, the siege tanks have been wiped again. Incredible defenses from Hero. And another science vessel getting picked out. Medic Marine's going to follow this up. There is a Lurker on the low ground. Not a lot of health left to it. So it looks like that low ground natural might be wiped out. Some Zerglings streaming through. We have some upgrades working on that Ultralisk, and it looks like that hatchery and that 4th gas now going to be... Well, I take it back. They're going to reposition, continue to work on that hatchery. Does Hero have enough in time? It drops the Plague, but is not able to save that hatchery. Mutalisk has spotted the 6 o'clock base. I don't know if there's a lot that Hero can do about it right this second. He's back down to 3 gas. Getting the Defiler energy upgrade to make them a little bit more potent. Lurkers morphing under that Dark Swarm to the upper right. Looks like a few Vultures have actually been pushed out to deal with any counterattack that was going to sweep across that left-hand alley in the form of either Zerglings or Ultralisks. Macro Hatch being dropped for Hero on the top right, which shows you he's about to switch into large build mode here, trying to re-grab that hatchery to re-establish that 4th gas. This 3rd base has been running this entire time for Hero. His main, however, is just about to mine out. Massive supply lead. Ooh, Zergling versus Vulture, not the best fight. Those Vultures should, even in close quarters, be able to wipe it out. But now some drop ships following it up from Royal. Gonna get some Overlords at the very least. And I don't know that Hero, yeah, he's in the red. Does have some Dark Swarm to work with. Running that Defiler in position, but a Fire Bat able to wipe out what's left. And that Ultralisk Cavern could get focus fired down. Marines dodging in and out. Continually in the red now. So it's going to be just troops on the ground. And while that was happening, a swarm moving into the natural expansion to deny that 4th gas again. And here just going to hold those Marines back in position to let Zerglings come to him and get wiped out. As I say that, he walks forward and takes some Lurker fire. But again, that natural expansion crushed. Royal at double the supply now of Hero. Additional radiates being dropped on the high ground. It looks like one of the macro hatcheries is going to be cleared. And the Marines still up on the high ground. Wow, that was an instant Defiler radiate as it went through that Nidus Canal. Can't even get to the lower ground. Zergling streaming through, but Medic Marines able to push up to the high ground. A Lurker able to get in between. It's going to have an irradiate almost instantaneously. The Zerglings trying their best, but this is too much. It looks like that top right base is going to be breached, and that will be GG. But I have to say, Hero putting up a massive recovery and really making a game of it. For a second there, I thought he was going to come back and take it, but Hero falling to Royal in a fantastic back and forth battle. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Give a like and subscribe and support StarCast TV. Thank you for listening.